How's it going, guys? Brandon Smith here in Paris for FUT Champions Cup Stage 4. I'm joined by Mike, all the way from Australia, all the way from down under, for Shutdown. He did play in the tournament here, unfortunately went out in the Swiss stages. Talk to me about this, because this is your first ever tournament. It must have been a big opportunity for you.
Yeah, definitely. Being the only player from Australia, it's always a big opportunity to represent your country on the global stage. But yeah, it was a good experience playing against some of the best players in the world, and I think I can take a lot of that back to Australia and try and qualify for some more events.
And it seems a common thing, isn't it? It's so difficult to qualify from the APAC region, of course, the NAZ region. How difficult is it, from a player's mouth yourself?
Yeah, it's very tough, especially with like the likes of FUT Marco, who's definitely Australia's best PlayStation player, and there only being one spot, it's very hard to beat him. And then other players like Greek and Neza, there's also like so many good players in Australia, and with only one spot, it's very hard to like consistently make events. So yeah, it's a big thing to represent Australia on the global scale at a FUT Champions Cup.
And what made you get into competitive FIFA? Why did you start playing? Obviously, this is your first ever major tournament. It must be, amazing opportunity to fly over to Paris here, into Europe, getting a trip and playing FIFA. What made you start, competing?
Well, it's actually funny. I was playing football a few years ago, and I broke my leg. So I started, taking FIFA a bit more seriously to try and get, my hit of FIFA kind of. And then one thing led to another. I just couldn't get away from the competitive side, and now here I am at a FUT Champions Cup. So yeah.
And what would you make of the Australian scene over the last few years? We've had obviously the E-League happen, we've had the E-Nations Cup as well, Australia being represented there. What would you say has changed in the last kind of 2 or 3 years in Australia when it comes to FIFA getting bigger?
Oh, there's definitely been a bigger pool of competitive players in Australia, competing for those spots. And I feel like the competition's just breeded more quality, and the players have just gotten better and better where they're able to actually now compete on the global stage, which is really good.
Well, amazing stuff. And again, thank you very much for joining us here on the Competition Centre. Big thank you to Mike. Hopefully we'll be seeing him again this year in the Global Series. And yeah, as always, catch us with more interviews here on the Competition Centre, brought to you by PlayStation.